the materials needed for the Heirloom Heart Blanket, I used Lion Brand Yarn Baby Soft yarn in the color Petal. I also used size 6 4.0 millimeter knitting needles, stitch markers, tapestry needle, and scissors. The blanket is made from the bottom up and starts with a picot cast on. A garter stitch border is made at the bottom and at the top of the blanket to prevent curling. Follow the chart between the stitch markers placed on row 10 of the main body of the blanket. The right hand side of the chart is odd numbers and the left side is even numbers. You will be knitting the odd rows and purling the even rows except for the chart section because you will be purling to make the heart. There's a digital chart of the heart that you can follow along and track your individual progress in the chart section. At the top of the blanket, we then do a Picot Bind-off. This video tutorial is best viewed if you have the written pattern up next to you, so you can get the free pattern on my blog right here. And in that free pattern, it does have the digital chart so you can track your individual progress for this heart. But if you want the printable chart, as well as several picture aids to help you make this baby blanket, you can get the premium PDF right here. And then of course it is a Lion Brand yarn kit, so you can get all of the yarn needed to make this baby blanket right here. To begin the blanket, we are going to do a picot cast on. So you need to do a slip knot, insert your needle, and then you're going to take your other needle, insert our right needle, knit one, and instead of sliding it off our needle like you normally do, you're going to put that knit stitch onto your left needle. So we have 2 on our left needle now. Going into that top stitch, knit another one, put it on your left needle, do it one last time, put it on your left needle. So we have 4 stitches on our left needle right now, and we're going to bind off 2. So you knit one, take it off your needle, knit a second one, take it off your needle, and then you're going to take that first stitch you did and pass it over the second stitch you knitted, and that's the bind off. So knit another one. This will be the second stitch that we're going to bind off, and then pass it over the stitch, and then put that stitch back onto your left needle. So you can see we made our first little picot right here. Very cute. Let's do it again. So this was just because we were on the corner. Now the repeat of the blanket is knit 5 and then bind off 2. That gives us 3 stitches in between each picot. So knit 5 and put it onto that left needle. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then bind off 2. So knit 1, take it off your needle, knit 2, take it off your needle, and then take that first stitch that you did there, pass it over the second. That's 1 stitch bound off. We need to do it again. So knit 1, take it off your needle, and then pass that stitch up and over to bind off our second stitch. Put it back onto your left needle, and you can see we've made our second little picot there, and we have 3 stitches in between our picots. Let's do it one more time together. Knit 5 and place them onto your left needle. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Our 5 stitches on our left needle. Then we're going to knit or bind off 2. So knit 1, take it off your needle, knit 2, bind off 1, and then bind off 2. Place that back on your left needle. And that is our cute little bottom border that we're starting. So you can see right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stitches on our needles, and we need to have a total of 149 stitches to start. So go ahead and do this until you have 149 stitches. This pattern of doing the picot cast on, this version of it is a multiple of 3 plus 2, so you will end up, it is divisible, 149 is divisible by this. So I'll meet you at the end of this cast on. I'm nearly done with my picot border. I have one more set to do, so let's do it together. I need to cast on 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now I need to bind off 2 stitches. So I knit 1, knit 2, and then I bind off 1, knit another one, and bind off 2. Transfer that stitch back to your left. So I have 149 stitches right now, or 50 picots, and now I'm ready to do row 1. Row 1, you're just going to knit all the way across, and you're going to do that for 12 rows. This is creating the garter border bottom so that the blanket won't curl, since the majority of the blanket is in stockinette stitch. And then let's meet up for row 1 of the main body. I've made it to row 1 of the main body, so let's work row 1 of the main body together. It says you need to knit 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then it says you need to place the marker and then knit all the way across until you have 8 stitches left, and then you're going to place another marker. And the reason why we're placing these markers is because this is going to be the garter row border for the blanket on the edges, and so having a stitch marker there just makes it easier to remember that those stitches will always be knit, even on the wrong side or the purl side. So I'm going to knit all the way across, and then let's meet at the end of this row to place the marker, the last 8 stitches. I have 10 stitches left in this row, so let me knit these last 2, and then I'm going to place my last marker for this row, and then knit these last 8 stitches. So you knit all of the stitches on the right side rows when you're not doing the chart, even though the border is marked off. But for this next row, row 2, you're going to knit these 8 stitches, and then outside of the borders on either edge, you're going to be purling. So that's why I have those stitch markers there, because I don't want to have to count the stitches. I just want to slip that marker and then start purling and not have to think about whether I've done 8 stitches or not. So just pay attention to that throughout the blanket. And then let's meet back up when we get to row 11. I'm going to talk about the chart explanation and how to read the chart, and then we will do row 11 together. I just finished row 10 of my blanket, and I placed my stitch markers right here for where the chart is going to sit in my blanket. So you can see this stitch marker is my border indicator, and you can see I have it on this side as well. And then these stitch markers indicate where I need to look to the chart and follow along with the chart. So let's go over this chart design. So if you push this button right here, you can track your own individual progress on the chart. You can see if I go up, then I'm doing each of my rows on its own. Let me show you the chart though. So you can see this first row, I have 3 blocks that are shaded. So in our specified area, it should be a knit row that we do next, but those 3 blocks, I'm going to do a purl. That way it's going to bump it out and make it look different and give that pattern, that heart pattern that we're wanting. In the chart, you can see this bigger gray line. So this is 5, and then this is a darker one. This is 10, 15, 20, 25, 26. So we do 26 knit stitches and then 3 purl, and then 26 knit stitches on this side. And then for the next row, we're going to do all purl because there's no grayed out area. On the wrong side, you're going to always do purl, not do the pattern. But then the next row, you can see we have 10, 20, 25 knit stitches, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're just going to go all the way up. When you get up here, you're going to start doing the curve of the heart. So let's go ahead and do this together. So I have my chart up next to me. I'm going to be tracking my individual progress. Make sure I'm on that first row right here. And first we are outside of our chart stitch marker. So we just need to knit to that marker. So doing my border, I'm just knitting. And I've reached my stitch marker. I forgot to say that for the pattern on row 10 of the main body, the stitch markers get placed before stitch 17 and then after stitch 71. And so now I'm going to knit 26 stitches. 1, 2. I've now reached the point where I need to do my 3 purl stitches, like the chart says. 1, 2, 3. And now I should have 26 stitches left until I reach this next stitch marker. 24, 25, and 26. So we did it correctly because the heart is symmetrical. So the rest of this row, I'm just going to knit all the way across. For the next row, I'm going to knit in my border marked stitches and then purl all the way across and then knit in my border marked stitches. And then let's pick back up and do the next chart row together. I'm at the next part of my chart, so I went ahead and moved it up. And you can see now I have 25 stitches, and then I have 5 purl stitches that I need to do, and then 25. So I already worked my blanket until to my chart stitch marker right here. So now I'm ready to do 25 stitches. 1, 2. And now I need to do my 5 shaded boxes, which are purl stitches. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now we have 25 stitches until we reach our next marker. 1, 2, 4, and 25. So we've done the chart correctly because it's symmetrical. So again, you're just going to knit to the end of this row, continue following along with the chart, and let's meet back up after we've finished and we are going to do the border section. I made it to the top of my blanket, and so I'm ready to do the garter stitch border. So like the beginning garter stitch border, this is a wrong side row. This is a purl row. And I'm going to do my border, my side border stitches first, like we've been doing for this whole blanket, just knitting these side ones until we get to the marker. And instead of purling like we have been doing on the wrong side, now we just do knit and garter stitch. The next row we also do garter stitch, we just knit it, and we're going to do that for 12 rows. So let's do that off camera, and then let's meet back up and we'll go over how to do the Picot Bind-off. I finished my 12 rows of the garter stitch border, so I'm ready to do the Picot Bind-off. To do the Picot Bind-off, we're now going to start ignoring these. I actually could have taken this off while I was doing the garter stitch border, but so you don't need to have those stitch markers anymore. And to begin, you're going to bind off one stitch. So you knit, knit, and then you pass this first stitch you knit over the second stitch. Pass it over like that. And then you're going to slip this needle onto the left needle, or sorry, slip this stitch onto the left needle. Cast on 2 stitches using the knitted cast on. So you're going to knit, but don't slip it off your left needle. You're going to place it on that knit stitch. You're going to place it on to your left needle. So there's 1. And again, you're going to insert your needle as if to knit. You knit it, but don't take it off, and you're going to place it onto your needle. So you have these 2 extra stitches here. Now you're going to bind off 4. So knit 1, knit the next one, bind off 1, bind off the second one, 2, 3, and 4. So we're going to do the repeat again. We're going to bind off 1, slip that stitch onto our left needle, cast on 2 stitches using the knitted cast on. There's 1 and 2. So this is what we have right now. And then we're going to cast off 4. So here's our first cast off. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you can see these little picots that we're making. Let's do it again. Bind off 1, slip that stitch onto our left needle, knitted cast on 2, 1 and 2, and now we're going to bind off 4. Here's our first one. 1, 2, 3, and here's our fourth. There's another one. So in between each picot, there are 3 stitches, and then the picots are 2 stitches tall. So we're going to do this all the way across until we've reached the end. And for the end, you're going to do the repeat, but you're going to end with 5. And so that is how you make the Heirloom Hearts blanket. Thanks for joining me today. Hey friends, thanks for joining me on today's video. I have this video right here that I think you'll really enjoy, so go check it out and be sure to subscribe for more crochet and knit tutorials. My name is Rachel from Cozy Nooks Designs, and happy making!